Look, I really don't know why YouTube continued to restrict advertising on some of the later videos. The only thing we talk about a bit more in these compared to the others is what's going on from the biological perspective, let's call it. And of course, we call it it. So I don't know what it's picking up really. I mean, but I'll continue just to pump out the videos as I see it. Having said that, everyone seems to have gone berserk. It really is such a panic. It's hard to believe.
Conventions, conferences and hotel rooms cancelled.
They're talking about that the government needs to step in and provide emergency V response. V for victory. I also wonder if it's the comments that you guys are putting down there about your thoughts, opinions on it. But I don't care if it is. I'm not keeping. I am keeping the comments open. I'm not going to close them. So the uncertainty because of it.
Sweeping through the country's tourism and hospitality sector. Hotel occupancy is down up to 40% in some locations. And the $30 billion events industry that delivers so many bookings is being hit by rolling cancellations. Visitors to conferences are big spenders, but as Daniel Ziffer found, they're staying away in droves.
That madness, totally, honestly.
The impact is worldwide. The Tokyo Marathon normally has 40,000 runners and even more spectators. The city is holding the Olympics in July. The Geneva Car Show cancelled.
I actually still can't believe this is happening. I actually can't believe it. The numbers just don't add up.
It employs 190,000 people across Australia. It delivers $30.2 billion to the Australian economy.
The tourism sector is already getting pounded. The Western Australian Chamber of Commerce puts losses at $250 million, and they're less exposed to the millions of Asian visitors that explore Queensland. Today, this convention centre in Melbourne was meant to be hosting 9,000 guests of tech giant Cisco. Instead, the event's been cancelled.
We're a month away from knowing whether it's worse than people are currently thinking or a lot better.
I don't know. I don't have much input. I just keep saying it's insane and I can't believe that this is happening. That's all I got, unless I come up with something brilliant in the next few minutes.
I think the losers will emerge relatively quickly and the winners will emerge slowly through the balance of the year.
This is a good summary, this next.
I think the worst case scenario is almost what we're seeing now but continuing on, where we have a relatively small number of sick people.
So a relatively small number of sick people.
We have a relatively small number of deaths.
A relatively small number of deaths, thank God.
But it's having a very significant effect on travel plans.
But people are panicking for whatever reason.
Julia, markets are seemingly giving people whiplash at the moment. We had
I can see this video being much shorter than the others.
a wild week on the share market has finished as it began. Panicked investors dumping shares across the board as virus fears bite. The bloodletting continued on Wall Street, with the Dow Jones down 3.5% overnight. Investors piled into safe havens like gold, while bonds dropped like a stone. 10-year US Treasury yield plumbing a new record low. The ASX 200 finished 2.9% lower today, wiping out all of yesterday's solid gains and plunging the local market deep into correction territory.
Yeah, so that was Friday. That was the last day. So that was yesterday, last day of trading. Yeah, ended negative, didn't it?
As Andrew Robertson reports, the shadows are growing over Australia's 28-year run of economic sunshine.
Yeah, 28 years. That's amazing, actually. What an achievement. If it continues, it'll be statistically unusual, I think.
But on the stock market, it seems, the wild ride continues.
The fact that the markets are being up one day, down the next, and often the moves are 3 or 4%, either way, that's telling us that investors are very, very uncertain.
Yeah, I think so. Not wrong there.
Crisis-level interest rate cuts in the United States and Australia were meant to put an end to all this, but the bad news keeps coming. The latest, the outbreak is set to cost the international airline industry around $170 billion.
And here's a good summary of what happened last week, S&P 500 and then Aussie market.
Wall Street was down by more than 3% again overnight, but remarkably over the course of the last week, despite the huge swings, the market is actually up. Australia hasn't fared so well. While the ride has been just as dramatic, the market here has shed another 3.5%. To the point where ratings agency Standard & Poor's is predicting Australia could be one of a number of countries to slip into recession. AMP Capital's Shane Oliver agrees.
I'm almost on the verge of saying, yes, we are going to see a recession. I thought we would avoid that for many, many years, and we've managed to avoid it for a whole bunch of reasons. But it does look increasingly like the coronavirus will get us.
As the Morrison government...
It's been a long week. Let's have some final thoughts and words.
How big are we at a risk of recession here?
Well, I think there's a very material risk. It's by no means a certainty, but the truth is that the government has already announced that we've taken a 0.5% hit to GDP just in two sectors alone. That's the education and tourism sector.
Remember, education, tourism.
That fallout will significantly increase. So there is a big chance that the current quarter becomes negative. And then the question is, will those effects be persistent into the next quarter, delivering two negative quarters, which constitutes a technical recession?
Andrew Charlton, great to talk to you on The Business. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Andrew, and thank you, viewers. We'll wrap it up here. Thanks for watching, and we'll chat again soon.